Hello everyone and welcome back to another Batman miniature game 3rd edition battle report on the last showing of this particular table layout for now. Today for you we have a 350 rep match of a pure, well almost pure, Riddler crew. They have a free agent helping them out, or rather a unique henchman, versus 350 rep of Two-Face, which is a slight variation on a list that's been on the channel as well before. Two big crews, so with that we're just going to jump straight into looking at them, because this might end up being a long one because of how complicated the Riddler tends to be. So here is the 9 miniatures in the Riddler crew. As I said, there is one special guest, and that is Polka Dot Man, who, he's not free agent, is he? No, he is a henchman, but obviously he's unique because he's Polka Dot Man. Besides him though, the rest of the list is pure Riddler, so it's a bit different to their first showing on the channel, but still being led by modern age Riddler, backed up by his sidekick Quell, I think is how you pronounce it, I'm not 100% sure. Then we have an assortment of his quiz-related henchmen. Quiz 1 is the one with the 2 Uzis at the back there. Quiz 2 is the tiny guy in the middle there. Quiz 3 is the tallish guy at the back. And then it's Quiz 6, 7 and 8. I think 6 is like the Charlie Chaplin guy there. 7 is the one with the bowler hat. And is it 8 or is it 9? It is 8. Is the exceptionally large man on the tiny bike. So Riddler has the level up upgrade purchase, so he'll be putting down 2 suspect markers in the first raise the plan phase, but we'll cover that at deployment. Polka Dot Man has a grapple gun because he's a henchman, so he can take war gear. And the gentleman on the large bike has the level up. Oh, not the level up, sorry, another one is the name of the upgrade. And the gentleman with the 2 Uzis has weird ammo, and I think that covers all their upgrades. And here is Harvey Dent and his Two-Face crew. Again, kind of similar to a list that's been on the channel before. I think the old version of this list had Condiment King in it, but he's been dropped in favour of 2 of the generic thugs from the Back to Gotham box. But of course, being led by the man himself, Harvey Dent, Two-Face, he's got the Harvey Dent banner upgrade, so his Inspire radius is 12 instead of 8. Hush is being brought along because it kind of works well with him. An assortment of Two-Face's specific thugs, and one of my dog's hairs bothering me. There we are. The 2 that are snipers, the one with the bolt action rifle and the other rifle, and then just the one with the pistol. I forget offhand which one is which. Kite Man is here just to fill a space. He's got a good objective card if nothing else. And then, as said, 2 thugs. I think that's Thug 4 and Thug 6. Let's double check. Thug 4 is the one with the axe on the left there. Oh no, it's Thug 2, the one that's taking a cigarette break and never fires a shotgun. But they'll be there for suspect markers and such. And it has already been decided that Two-Face will be using the twisted side of his coin at the start of the game. So it's a little different to how it usually is. So we are all deployed and ready to go using the left and right edges as you see it right now, which is the opposite to last time for deployment. Riddler's crew is on your left, Two-Face's crew is on your right, and the Two-Face crew did win taking priority. Both sides had a mastermind as well. Riddler is a mastermind, but so is Hush. So, and there is the 2 suspect markers that Riddler, thanks to his upgrade, can put down. And anytime anyone in his crew puts down a suspect marker, you put a numeric counter on it of a number of your choosing. So there's a 2 and a 4 in play. They have to be at least 12 away from the deployment edge. Or, sorry, they have to be at least 4 out of deployment, which means at least 12 in total from the deployment type we're using. So, we haven't got audacity markers down yet, but I guess we'll see that in a second. But Quell and a few of the thugs and Polka Dot Man are down here. Hard to get an angle on, but Riddler and the majority of the rest of his themed thugs are over there. And then if we come around here, Two-Face and a bunch of the generic goons and 1 sniper are here. Hush, the other generic thug, and the other sniper are over here. We can cover objective cards being played. Phase 1, there's 2 cards being played. Riddles on the Storm is being played by the Riddler crew, but it's very unlikely to score. Enemy models reveal fewer suspect markers than friendlies, so for this to score, a Riddler model would have to at least reveal 1 of Two-Faces. Again, very unlikely. It's in play. The Two-Face crew is getting a turn 1 Die Hard, which is the best time to get it. It's being played on Hush. Very, very securely safe, probably. And speaking of the man himself, Phase 2, Master of Manipulation is being played, which is Hush's unique. If you use fewer resource cards than your opponent this round to score the card. Again, not super likely, although Riddler does have maybe have a higher chance of playing them than a regular crew. So either way, it's in play. We'll get Audacity markers then and be back for a quick check-up on who has that. Audacity markers placed. The Two-Face thug with the pistol has Audacity, Two-Face himself does, one of the snipers, and Hush for that group over there. The Riddler's crew is a bit harder to pick because there's so many, but Quill has it, Polka Dot Man has it, Riddler himself has it up there, as does the thug with the two Uzis. And with that, we are ready to jump into Battle Round 1. Two-Face going first, unless he opts to pass, because they do have one pass that they can use. So Kite Man got the game started for the Two-Face crew, did not have Audacity but is a henchman and was within the increased Inspire range of Two-Face. He moved up outside of the 2 inches beyond deployment and put down a suspect marker using that free Inspire. Riddler's sidekick Quill activated with Audacity. She came around the corner here, her 8 inches, and she put down a suspect marker, and as you can see it's been issued a 6 numeric counter, and a objective card is being put into play that uses the Riddler special rule. So if a when to score card has the question mark, which I can't show you because it would reveal what the card is, you put it face down on the table, and the next time a friendly suspect marker is revealed, so the first time Two-Face reveals a suspect marker, you flip that card, and if the criteria for the text on it has been met, it scores. So that's a little trap lying in wait, tricks and plots within plots and all that. The Two-Face thug with the revolver activated, he had Audacity, and he was close enough to get that free Inspired Manipulate from his boss as well. He moved his 8 inches over here to get line of sight on Quill, and then shot his pistol. He was only rolling the 1 die, but he is using a high caliber weapon, which means you discard the strength die last instead of first, which keeps it on a 2+. So he got it, and it is a double blood weapon, so he did 2. Now it has reload, but if he has Audacity next round, he has fast reload, so he can force himself to reload immediately and fire again. So he is still kind of dangerous, although he does only have 2 loads of ammo, so he can only fire 1 more time in the entire game. He used the free Inspire from Two-Face to also put down a suspect marker, and he is outside of deployment plus 2 inches, so it's a safe, and outside of 4 over there as well. So Quiz 7, who's one of the many Riddler thugs around the man himself underneath that bridge where it's hard to get an angle, activated. He crept round the side there though, and put down a suspect marker using the free Manipulate from Riddler, and that has been issued a numeric 3 counter. Nothing else played for him though, but it's back over to Two-Face now, unless they decide to pass. So Master Manipulator Hush activated. He moved up his 10 inches, such that the Riddler thug that just finished moving is within his short distance. He did move though, so he was only rolling 2 dice with his pistols. However, he used Gunman, which you can do before doing a shooting action, which lets you do another one. It uses up 2 out of his 3 ammo, but it is also good for doing damage. And all the dice got through. So the first set of shots, 2 hits through for 2 blood, 2 stun. Second set of shots, 2 blood, 2 stun, 4 blood, 4 stun in total. But unlike most of Riddler's quiz henchmen, this guy is pretty sturdy. He is 5'6", 5 willpower, 6 endurance. So not only is he still alive, but he's still conscious as well, which is pretty incredible. Riddler's crew activated the Charlie Chaplin looking guy without Audacity, but obviously right next to his boss, who is under there. He came forward his 8 inches. It looks like a stiff breeze would kill those men. But either way, he put down his suspect marker. He had to make sure he was outside of 4 of this one, obviously, which may potentially put him in the firing line. I don't know if that car door is obscuring. We'll need to double check, assuming that's what that thug wants to do, of course. But that might cost him, and a 5 was put on the suspect marker he put down. So although the sniper there would be able to see the Charlie Chaplin Riddler thug, the door would obscure, plus he would be shooting outside of optimal range, I think. Or, sorry, outside into the night, because he's not illuminated. So instead, Two-Face himself decided to take matters into his own hands. He cut the corner a little bit there, and put himself in the street. Now he's got 16 inches on his Tommy gun, but he needs to be within 12 to actually see the target, and he was just within 12. High caliber, so he was within optimal range, so he got to keep the strength down, 1 other. Both got through for a total of, well, they do 2 blood, 1 stun each shot, so that is 4 blood, 2 stun. So in total that is 6 damage, which scores them their first card for 1 paltry victory point. Catch a bullet. Something. But that poor gentleman, I did tell you a stiff breeze could kill him. He has 4 HP, so he is very dead. So Quiz 8, which is the Riddler thug that is gigantic but is on a tiny bike. It's a fantastic miniature. He activated next without Audacity, but close enough to Riddler that he had that free Inspire. Had base movement of 8, but he has the mechanical mount rule, which adds on another 4, which gave him enough to scoot round the corner over here. Yes, right in front of the lamppost, but he put down a suspect marker and put a 1 on it, so I think that is 1 to 6 on the... Yeah, they're actually in a nice line here. So 6, 4, 1, 2, 5, and 3 right up the top. Yeah, so the Riddler's crew has every number covered now, and they can still put down 2 more suspect markers. I think you're allowed to repeat markers if it comes to that. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, right now, they're probably sitting pretty for some good scoring at the end of the round. Thug 2 moved up for Two-Face's crew, but thanks to that I support Harvey Dent, or whatever it's called, upgrade that's on the man himself, for that increased Inspire range, he could still use an Inspire to manipulate to put down a suspect marker. If you aren't familiar with that upgrade, I can't remember if I mentioned this already, but it is one that's available on the app, so it's one of the new upgrades given to Harvey's team. It wasn't in the original compendium list. The Polka Dot Man activated and with Audacity and used his grapple gun because he couldn't quite, with his 10 inches, even though he can go up and over scenery with his floating polka dots, make it to a suspect marker. But with the help of the grapple gun, more than comfortably got into base to base with the marker that just got put down there and revealed it. Doesn't score anything right now, but that does meet the criteria for riddles on the Storm, on the assumption that Two-Face's crew don't reveal any of the Riddler suspect markers. It puts him in the line of sight, obviously, but he does have power armor, and I think he can make efforts to take away more dice, so he should be relatively safe compared to some of the other quiz thugs the Riddler has. Gangster 7 activated. He's the one with the bolt action rifle, I believe it is. Yes, and he used good aim because he had Audacity, so that used up his special action, but it allows him to move after firing an aim weapon, which it is. It's also accurate, and he decided to shoot at the poor large lad on the bike there because he's illuminated by that light. Both bullets got through, high caliber as well, for 6 blood. He lived though. He is a very chunky lad and he has 8 HP, so he has 2 HP left. After doing that, he moved up a little bit, and because he was in the increased Inspire range of Two-Face, was able to put down that suspect marker that just got removed by Polka Dot Man. Now, him removing that still counts and everything, but it's just they put down another one. Some quick activations I think are going to follow now because Audacities are being used up. Quiz 2 activated, peeled around the corner tightly with his 8 inches and just stopped next to Quill there to help bodyguard our next turn. Second last activation for Two-Face's crew was the Thug with the axe. He also just moved up next to Hush there, wanting to ask somebody a question. Quiz 3, also without Audacity, stuck down this end of the table away from their boss, came round the corner 8 inches, got him to roughly there. Nothing else for him to do this turn either. So with that, it's over to Two-Face's last activation, unless he uses that one pass he's been sitting on. So Two-Face did decide to activate their final man, the sniper down here, because the large guy on the motorbike that's illuminated, his sniper has unlimited range. He can see him. A dice was lost for cover, but that doesn't matter. The other 2 shots got through. It's high caliber as well. So 6 more damage to comically large man on tiny bike equals comically large man on tiny bike being murderized. We have a very dead. Didn't score anything on that though, but that's a second casualty for Riddler's crew. So we can actually cover those final 2 activations for Riddler's crew to take us to end of battle round 1. Quiz 3 came down through the metro way here and shot his Uzis into Hush. Now they have assault, so he doesn't lose dice for moving and shooting, but he's a -1 to hit. 2 hits still got through though, for 2 blood and 2 stun to Mr. Thomas Elliot. Riddler himself, he was back there of course. There's nothing really he wants to do over there, and he doesn't want to place suspect markers, because when he places 1 he can place 2. So instead he just kind of ran over here his 10 inches. He is strategically positioned such that he is outside of 4 of both lamps, so he is safe from that. But yeah, there's nothing else he needs to do. So with that, we are at the end of battle round 1. So at the end of battle round 1, there's no KO checks to do because there was only casualties. Riddler is 2 henchmen down, so now he's actually at a disadvantage numbers wise. But, well, speaking of numbers, he does have a suspect marker with every numeric counter down, which means in phase 4 he can score both Riddle of the Night for 2 victory points, have at least 3 friendly suspect markers that have an even number on them, and then also Riddle Me Softly, which is for 3 suspect markers with an odd value. So it would behoove Two-Face's crew to start removing some of those markers, lest they keep getting those kind of scores at the end of each round. Now in terms of Two-Face's cards, actually, if we look down here, the Die Hard scores, even though Hush got shot, he didn't die or get knocked out, so the Die Hard has scored for them. The Master of Manipulation has not, because nothing was played as a resource card, so that is out of there. The 2 cards in play for Riddlers, the face down stays in play until a suspect marker is revealed, unless it gets replaced by a different question mark card. But Riddle's on the Storm does score because Polka Dot Man revealed a suspect marker and Two-Face's crew didn't reveal any. So that is, what, 6 points for Riddler's crew? Not too bad. So here we are at the top of Battle Round 2, and the Riddler crew will be taking first activation. Both teams actually rolled equally on their take the lead, and then both teams still have masterminds for those +1s, but in cases of a tie, the team that didn't get first activation take priority. So that's why Riddler is going first. The face down card for Riddler's crew is still in play, and in phase 1 they are also playing another Riddles of the Storm. So they have to reveal, well, the enemy has to reveal fewer suspect markers than them. And currently Two-Face has 3 markers down that are potentially revealable, and obviously Riddler's crew has the 6 to choose from. No cards being played for Two-Face's crew. Let's see what happens. So first activation for the Riddler crew for Battle Round 2, it was tempting to be that Quiz Thug up there to shoot at Hush, but even if he got maximum damage, Hush would not die. So instead Quell activated, and she took 2 damage in Battle Round 1. She was down here. She only has 5 HP, so she's a little fragile, but she has a double blood, 2 fire, plus the strength die pistol, so she shot it at the Two-Face Thug with a pistol over here, with rapid reload if he has an Audacity token, which he did. 6 blood, he is dead, because he has 6 HP on the dot. And after that, she moved up here, and then she had Audacity, so she tried to use Disarray on the Thug here, and he passed his willpower roll. Still a good turn though. First activation in Battle Round 2 for Two-Face's crew was Hush, and he stayed where he was. He fired the last of his ammunition, his guns don't have reload, into the Quiz Thug over here, doing 3 out of the 4 hits for 3 blood, 3 stun. With the damage he already had from round 1, he is gone. Which is funny actually, because the first 3 casualties for Riddler's crew are the 3 new miniatures, new model syndrome. It's alive and well. Then Hush ran into base to base with that Thug, sorry, that Quiz Thug I guess, to differentiate so that he can't fire his Uzis. And finally scored a twisted side card. Heads or heads. A friendly model inflicts at least 4 damage on an enemy model that had an Audacity marker. He did 6, so that scored for 2. The Riddler himself activated and moved his 10 inches over here, and he removed 2 of his own suspect markers that were on either side of Hush. Now it might look like they've just moved because they're back there. That's because of what happened next. Removing them though after he completed a move action triggered, you activate the riddle. We pull back a little bit here. Remove 2 friendly suspect markers within 6 inches of one enemy model. Hush was the model. Can only be played when the model completes an action. He completed a move action. He then used a manipulate action to put down a suspect marker, but he has Quizmaster, I think is the rule. He has a rule, I can't remember the name of which one. It might be Quizmaster or Challenge Me. Either way, when he puts a marker down, he's allowed to put down 2, and he can put them down within 6 inches of himself rather than in base to base. So the 2 that were removed are immediately back. And I don't think that counts towards Riddles on the Storm because it's not enemy suspect markers. Two-Face activated and used his 8 inches to get into base to base with Quell using his reinforced gloves because he's reloading this turn so he can't shoot. He efforted twice, she did not because he's doing double stun. 3 hits got through for 6, which is exactly enough to knock her out, and that meets the criteria for I'm feeling weird for the knockdown or knockout, whatever you prefer. So that's scored, but of course he does also have the judgment trait, so I have the Two-Face coin here. I'm going to try my best to flip it in one hand. The bad side is obviously death. Oh, well, I missed grabbing it, but that is the bad side, so Quell has just been executed. Polka Dot Man was next up for Riddler's crew, and he wasn't in base to base, although it's throwing and light anyway, I think, but either way, he fired his polka dots at the poor Thug who's taking a cigarette break. 4 of them got through, there was only 1 fail, and he only has 4 endurance, so he is also dead and will not be getting to do anything. Polka Dot Man then charged 10 inches into Two-Face's deployment and has the Batmobile for cover, although the sniper there is reloading as well, so he doesn't really have anything to worry about this turn. Thug 4 was up next for Two-Face's crew with Audacity. He charged into Riddler with his double blood heavy handy axe and decided to ask Riddler a question. Riddler efforted twice, so did he, and Riddler whiffed his defense roll. 2 1s and a 2 on his defense roll on what was a pretty good attack. So 3 hits got through rather, for 6 blood. Riddler's alive, I think he has 7 HP, 7 or 8 HP. So he is alive barely, but yeah, that should never have done that much damage. That was unlucky for Riddler and very lucky for that poor little Thug. So Riddler's crew faces a dilemma that everyone they have left doesn't have Audacity, and 2 of them are nowhere near Riddler, who's in risk of dying. So the one that Hush went into base to base with, he activated, and he just decided to try and punch because he doesn't have Audacity, so he can't pull back and shoot. He did manage to get the strength die through, which is a single point of stun, didn't do anything else. and that is it. And then just for Riddler's tour to the quiz people down that corner there. But for Two-Face's crew, he still has the two snipers, neither of which can fire this turn, and Kite Man. So let's see what one of them does. So Kite Man activated, obviously without Audacity, but close enough to Harvey, because Harvey was right over there. He floated over the truck here, and he is revealing this suspect marker of Riddler's to counter Riddles on the Storm, and that was a 4. I honestly don't remember what the flipped over card was, but at this point we have to check now, so we'll just quickly see what it was. Riddle me this. An enemy model reveals a friendly suspect that had a numeric counter with a 4, 5, or a 6. He did. So unfortunately he just scored the Riddler's 3 victory points. But he's countering the 2 from Riddles of the Storm. So one of the 2 Riddler quiz thugs down here moved into base to base with his own suspect marker, did nothing else, but is playing another question mark score Riddler card into play. So that'll be flipped over if/when Two-Face's crew reveals another of their suspect markers. So Two-Face's crew just has the 2 snipers left that can't do anything. This one over here, he just moved up. He's reloading his gun for next time. And the final Riddler quiz thug moved his 8 inches into base to base. Oh, must have pushed it. Into base to base with his suspect marker here. Doesn't have Audacity, can't do anything else. And finally, the other sniper positioned himself smack dab in the middle of the table, giving himself lovely fire lines in lots of directions. But that does take us to the end of Battle Round 2 and the scoring for it. So at the end of Battle Round 2, we are going to retcon something just with the final Riddler Thug's activation, the one that did nothing and moved into base to base with the suspect marker down there. Riddles Everywhere was going to be played for 2 to make Riddler put down riddle markers within 8 of himself, but Hush's Exhaustive Planner was used to cancel it anyway, so it was not used. In Phase 4 though, we do have another Riddle Me Softly scoring, because there is at least 3 odd value numeric counters on Riddler suspect markers. 1, 3 and 5 are still covered. Couldn't score the other one because of those reveals though. So that is 2 scored for Riddler's crew. No cards in play for Two-Face's crew, but we do have the Riddles of the Storm in play, which does not score because Kite Man revealed a suspect marker, and I think Riddler's crew didn't reveal any, so that also did not score. On to Battle Round 3. So here we are at the top of Round 3, and for the first time in the game there is no Phase 1 or Phase 2 cards being played. It's really only Riddler's crew that could, but yeah, none from them this turn, so they still have the one face down card, but that is it. And it will be the Two-Face crew taking first activation again. We can quickly see who has Audacity for both sides. One of the Riddler thugs down here has Audacity. They also have given the Riddler himself Audacity, the thug with the assault guns, and also Polka Dot Man. For Two-Face's crew, the man himself, Kite Man, Hush, and the thug with the axe in case Riddler tried to run away, or doesn't, or gets a chance to run away rather, because it is Two-Face's crew going first, but there might be something more important to do than just trying to smack Riddler upside the head. So after looking around, yeah, absolutely the best option was to go after Riddler. So he did. Riddler efforted it 3 times. The thug only had enough after healing 1 stun at the end of the previous battle round to do 2 more, and that meant he was losing a die. The strength die was the only die that got through, all said and done, but that was enough, thanks to his good hit last turn. Riddler is gone, and worth noting as well, Quell cannot replace him as leader because she's treacherous, but you can still pick someone else. After him doing that, and removing Riddler, Time Bomb was played. Twisted Side. A friendly model inflicts KO or removes as a casualty an enemy model within 4. They were base to base. Then place an explosive template on 2 different friendly suspect markers. All models under the marker under the explosive template take 1 blood, then remove the marker and the suspect markers, and as long as you inflicted damage on an enemy model, you score the card. A ridiculously complicated criteria to score for 2 points, incidentally, which is partly why the Two-Face deck is bad. This suspect marker exploded, didn't quite reach him, did nothing but is gone. This one down here, however, boom, 1 blood to this little guy and gets removed, and that does meet the criteria because of the blood damage there that Time Bomb has scored. The more important thing was Riddler being gone though. So the little Riddler quiz thug that took 1 blood damage at the end of that last activation activated with Audacity. He moved over here and he put down a new suspect marker that became the new number 4. At the start of his activation, however, Riddle Me That was played as a resource. You can't counter it because the one Exhaustive Planner has been used, and that's probably too shiny to see, but play at the start of an activation, move a friendly marker 4 inches. That marker has been moved 4 in this direction for reasons not yet explained. Two-Face was first up for his crew. He charged down here his 8 inches, just enough. He should technically be a bit more to the right with the markers on there, so just moved him to the left there a little bit. He engaged in close combat rather than shooting his gun with the quizzed 3, who is defense 2 with 4 willpower, and he took 6 stun in total from 3 hits. So he's unconscious. That is enough to score a They Must Know Pain for 1 point, but more importantly that means we have to flip the coin again to see, oh, I almost dropped the camera, to see if he dies. He does not. He is knocked out. So fast running out of models to actually play. Riddler activated the thug over here with the 2 Uzis. He moved, so he wasn't in base to base, so he could fire them. Fired them with assault roll, -1 to hit. On Hush, did very poorly with the roll, only 1 hit got through for 1 blood, 1 stun. Hush activated next, and rather than seek glorious vengeance, decided to try and score some points. He went over here, and the reason he went after this suspect marker is because it is within 8 of the enemy deployment. So in revealing it, which he has done, so we can just remove that, and it is a number 2, which we'll have to check in a second, he scored confusion for revealing an enemy suspect marker within 8 of their deployment zone. So within 16 essentially, for 2 points. But we now need to flip over the flipped down Riddler card and see if that was a mistake or not. Riddle me that, an enemy model reveals a friendly suspect marker that had a 1, 2 or a 3, and it was a 2, so actually they gained 2 points, but Riddler's crew just gained 3. So thanks to the massive casualties they've been taking and one of their miniatures being knocked out, I believe we're already at the final activation in Battle Round 3 for Riddler's crew, and it was Polka Dot Man, who was over by the Batmobile over there. He moved down here to this number 4, and unfortunately plans have had to change, so he is removing or revealing his own marker and turning it into loot. So Polka Dot Man is now holding on to the loot because this is the last opportunity to play that card. I was going to say he put down a question mark card, but he can't because you can only play 1 card as an objective in a turn. So that part will not be happening, but he is holding on to the loot and will be hoping that he can weather the sniper fire to hold on to it. So we can cover 2 of the two-faced thugs left to go, although we still have Kite Man after this. The 2 snipers, this one stayed still, fired the rest of his ammo into the thug over here. 6 blood, simple as that, he is also gone. Now the sniper over here, he was slightly further back here, he couldn't see Polka Dot Man, he would have to shoot shot into the night. So instead he just repositioned for now, because with the lost dice he wouldn't have been able to do anything. So now it's just over to Kite Man to end off the penultimate round. Kite Man moved up here, positioned himself in base to base with that Riddler suspect marker there. Did not reveal it despite having audacity, just planning ahead. So that does take us to the scoring of Battle Round 3 already. So as things stand at the end of the penultimate battle round, the Riddler crew is barely standing. They have 2 people left, well 3 technically, but one's unconscious and is staying unconscious, so they're not going to get a battle round, a turn in the final battle round. No phase 4 cards being played by either side. The only card remaining in play is Viable Commodities, which Polka Dot Man is holding on to down there. So with that, yeah, we're just ready to jump into what will probably be a quick final battle round. Dawn of the final day, the top of turn 4, the final round. Every conscious survivor of the Riddler crew has audacity. Everyone except the 2 snipers have audacity for Two Faces crew. There's a bunch of cards being played. And also the new leader of the Riddler crew is Polka Dot Man. The Die Hard card is being played for Riddler's crew and is being played on the only other conscious member, so him, with the 1 blood damage. I think he has 3 health left. And the final Riddles on the Storm is also being played, which we've talked about already. So both those are in play along with Viable Commodities for Riddler's crew. Overwhelming Charisma is being played by Kite Man. He's being selected and he is choosing Polka Dot Man. So he's trying to force Polka Dot Man to waste his final turn revealing a suspect marker to stop the scoring for a big 3. And it is the Two-Face crew who's going first. So Two-Face got the final round started. He walked over here, then as a resource played Closing Argument. Remove a friendly suspect marker within 4 of a friendly model performing a ranged attack, which is what he did because he had ammo left because he's been punching since turn 2. Add 1 to the attack die. He just did that because that is the last suspect marker for Two-Face's crew on the map. With its removal, even if, apologies for getting a text, even if Polka Dot Man wanted to try and counter Overwhelming Charisma, he now can't, and that also means Riddles on the Storm can't be scored either. He shot at the Die Hard final quiz thug, 4 damage, 4 blood, 2 stun, he has 4 endurance, so he's dead. Polka Dot Man is the last standing conscious person for the Riddler crew, so it's going to be his turn, but as I just said, his options are severely limited thanks to a perfectly timed Closing Argument as a resource. So the only play open to Polka Dot Man to score points was to take advantage of the fact he can fly, essentially, and bounced up here on top of this building so that nobody can see him, and that means he'll hold the valuable commodities at the end of the game. And that also kind of means that there's probably not much else Two-Face's crew can do to score cards. Kite Man is obviously revealing that to score overwhelming charisma. There's no face down Riddler cards, so that's not going to be relevant. We'll have a quick check to see if anything else the Two-Face people can do will score anything, because if not, we'll just go straight to the scoring. Nope, there is no other plays to be made for the Two-Face crew, so like what I just said, valuable commodities at the end of the game is scoring because Polka Dot Man lived, and overwhelming charisma because Kite Man revealed that suspect marker also scores for the Two-Face crew. So let's see. I mean, it's obvious, as far as on the table is concerned, Two-Face won, but did they win by points? Alright, here we go. Let's tabulate the final scores, starting with the Two-Face crew. So that is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And if you notice, I believe only 2 of those cards were actual Two-Face ones. 15 plays 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So despite a disastrous defeat on the table, 19 plays 15, and this is a Riddler win by victory points. Posthumously, I guess, because he's dead. Polka Dot Man walks away with the prize being a sense of self-satisfaction upon beating Two-Face. Going with the Twisted Side early was based on the opening hand, but where's the card? The one that was able to be scored. I want to complain about it again. Time Bomb is a bad card. It's too complicated to score. It hurts your own miniatures more so than the enemy, because chances are your miniatures are going to be around your suspect markers. And it's only for 2 points. If it was a 3-pointer, it would be worth trying for. But there's a little bit of unluckiness with the cards getting drawn as well, like the other good Twisted cards for having like an even number of models removed. That would have been an easy one to have happen. And a couple of other ones I'm blanking on. So they got a little bit unlucky with the card draw, and, well, they did very well on the table, but Riddler thugs aren't exactly built to last. That was good. Riddler victory, regardless. And with that, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Ta-ta for now.